Olaf says, they fight with the strength of 10 bears. They may just be worthy opponents of a Norn. Vex says, enough idle chatter. We need to find the gate post haste. If you're finished slapping each other on your furry backs, perhaps someone could point me in the right direction. You have the patience of a badger, small one. The object you call a gate... You have the patience of a badger. Wow, brilliant. The object you call a gate is at the heart of the temple. Follow the stench of these destroyers to it. Sweet. Again, we got Destroyer Core here. Have I talked about these before? These are another one of these items that, like the superb char carvings, that will get you a cool item later on. And in fact, there's a quest that just requires you to have like 1 or 2 Destroyer Cores as well to complete the quest, and you can instantly complete it. So if you're playing along with me, pick up the Destroyer Cores and just keep a couple in your inventory, because it will save you a bit of a pain in the ass later. Because you get the quest from a guy who's like in a bit of an annoying position. If you don't have the cores straight away, you're going to have to leave, get some, and then go back. So just... hold on to some. It's a good idea to have sort of one of your bags full of collectibles anyway, somehow, so that every time you pick up the things, one of the things you know you want to keep, that you know that they're just going to the back of your inventory, and it's all in safe hands. Right, so this is the Raven Blessing. I don't have any skill tips up, and this is one of those skills I like, one of the least used skills in the whole game I've ever used. So skill 1 is like a talon attack thing. Skill 2, I believe this one here, when I'm up again. Skill 2? Alright, that's just sort of a siege attack thing. Skill 3, I don't even know what skill 3 does. Hold on. Maybe we should put the tooltips on. There you go. Skill 4 stops you from being knocked down, which is what helps you against the tremors so much, and it's really helpful. It's another one of those things, though, like, where they... and my energy's draining like mad, so... It's one of those things, though. I get what Arenanet were thinking of when the game originally came out. That maybe if you had a whole team of humans, you'd all just be ravens and none of you would be knocked down by the tremors and it would be fine. But as it stands, when you always play with the heroes and the henchmen who can't use the Raven Blessing, it's just a bit, oh, okay, so I'll do it. But it's so insignificant, just one person not being knocked down, you know, you're not going to make that much difference usually when everyone else is flat on their asses whenever a tremor goes off. But that it's pretty cool that they mechanics play off of each other like that. I can't help but wonder if the Raven thing was designed around this one mission, or the mission was designed around the Raven thing. I'd like to think the Raven thing was designed around the mission, though, because... No, the other way... Yeah, the mission was designed around the Raven thing, because I wouldn't want a whole skill, a whole blessing just been built, not because it's effective in general gameplay, but just for the one place. That'd be a bit short-sighted, wouldn't it? Anyway, yeah, so the mission itself, I'm not going to, like, do it speedbook style, but I will... skip the stuff that I know, like particularly the second floor we're about to go into. It's just it's fantastic. You can skip so much stuff, like pretty much the whole floor you'll just be able to go through, and it's a really nice looking floor as well, having said that. But over there, look, you can see things fighting, chromatic drakes fighting with the destroyers, and the drakes actually are quite dangerous, so the fact that they're dying to the tremors, actually no, they're not even dying to the tremors, so yeah, drakes very dangerous. There's a reason why they just won against the destroyers, which is quite funny actually. I don't know whether that skill updates that's caused that to happen now, or whether it's just always been that way, but I think the idea is supposed to be that the destroyers are just destroying anything that's naturally on Tyria can throw at them at the moment, except us, because we're of course the badass heroes that come and save the day. And we get the awesome Echo Valve forest music here in the dungeons. Seriously, obviously it would have been better if when they came out with Eye of the North they wrote new music for the dungeons, but I think considering they obviously couldn't do that, they made a brilliant choice with the existing music, which one they should actually play in the dungeons. Deep underground, in the big sort of caverns, the Echo Valve forest music just fits it brilliantly. So I think there you could probably pull these drakes into these destroyers. But basically you can skip a load of stuff. I think that's the only... You see that tremor over there? As soon as you kill that tremor, the gate opens, and then you can just leave. We're going to have to fight the drakes and the destroyers, aren't we, separately? Which is the worst way to have gone about this. Unless I can just flag everyone. Yeah, oh sweet, we didn't aggro them. Cool. Let's use this a little bit more. I probably will forget to continue using it, because it's a bit weird where they did it with the dungeons, where you have to go through portals, essentially loading screens. Every time you have to go through one, it should open now. Do we have to kill them both? Where they did that, basically, when you get a blessing like this, you have to constantly keep speaking to Olaf to keep getting it, and I always forget to use it because I don't really care for the Raven blessing, to be perfectly honest. There we go. Here's floor 2. And this floor's awesome. So yeah, you can speak to Olaf to get it back if you really want. I can't be bothered. We'll leave it. We've seen what it's like. It's just different numbers, really. It doesn't change the way you look, so it's not really that amazing. But yeah, we're going to go this way. And yeah, I love the opening room to this place. There is in Frostmoors, which is one of... But no, it probably is my favourite dungeon in Out of the North. This was one of the hardest ones. But you get another room like this in Frostmoors, and it's just very, very awesome. I love these kinds of areas. So much detail. These are definitely some of the most beautiful places in Guild Wars. Definitely. I mean, I like the Jade Sea a lot, and it sounds so stupid and immature, but because it's shiny, because, you know, the Jade Sea, it's awesome walking around and seeing all the little reflections, all the little detail they put in where you can kind of see the ripples of the ice and the water as it's frozen and stuff. And this room just reminds me of it so much. There's a lot of the sort of icy dungeons that remind me of that. But here, yeah, look, floor 2, we've already skipped a few things. We can skip those Vitirs as well. You don't have to fight them. And then there's another group up here. You see you've got some Vitirs here and some Vitirs here. And it looks like you have to fight them to go through. Right, you will have to aggro them. But as soon as you do aggro them... Come on, please don't prove me wrong here. No, 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 no. Why has that happened? There should be a destroyer. There should be a destroyer tremor. What? Maybe I went the wrong way. Maybe I was supposed to go more north than that. Shit. Well, usually... I could have sworn usually you walk here and then a destroyer tremor actually comes up from the depths and I think they instantly all die. So you aggro them, the tremor comes up, kills them instantly, but the tremor isn't actually in your range when it comes up, so you don't have to fight it. It's not a big deal, as you can see. I just idly finish them off there, but yeah, there's definitely supposed to be a tremor there that pops up and killed them. But whatever, it's very easy. That's the second floor, guys. That's it. So I think my point still kind of stands. Nothing you have to kill at the end. The door will be open. Just wander on through. And now we're in the final floor here of A Gate Too Far. And again, there's more stuff you can skip, like straight away here at the start. You get like a split. You can go left or right. But some destroyers will like run into the middle, and you can aggro all of these things at once if you're not careful. But if you just flag past the tremor, can you see those ones moving in behind? The bears are actually caught up because of the tremor. But you can essentially just run past and only kill these ones here. That's something that I usually do. I suppose you could run. If you take it down to the level, if you really want, you can run past probably a lot more than you realise in Guild Wars. It just depends on if you've got skills like fallback, because they're just so immensely helpful. Now we want to go this way. I think is a good idea. No, that's a dead end. Ignore that. All right. So yeah, this is the last chamber here. It's pretty cool. The end of this mission, actually. You remember what we saw when we first got to Eye of the North? What Vec did to the gate when the destroyers were flowing through? We're going to do the same thing here, except it's not going to be in a cutscene. We're actually going to break it ourselves. There's not going to be... Vec's not going to randomly pull out some mysterious device that sort of explodes that is never explained where he got it from or why he never uses it again. We're going to break it the old-fashioned way by hitting it with our scythe. There's actually something quite interesting about the Asura Gates. In the Eye of the North manuscripts, I think it's the manuscripts at least, it talks about the Asura and... Yeah, it's down here, this is the last chamber. It talks about the Asura and what they're doing down in the depths. And there is a bit of lore, and it's quite early lore, I think it's pre-Eye of the North release, that talks about the Asura as if they only found the Asuran Gate network. Now, there's obviously a lot of lore that's been written after that definitely says they are the architects of the Asuran Gates, or at least they become the architects of later ones. But it's very interesting that there is that one bit of lore there that suggests that the Asura have just found gates that were left there by another civilization. Anyway, you can see the gate down there. I'm going to clear out these enemies here. And people start talking. Vec says, interesting, we actually meandered our way to the gates. And as I feared, says Ogden, it's overrun by destroyers. So Vec replies, you have amazing command of the obvious. We can dismantle the gate, but it'll take time. I suggest you distract those destroyers. Perhaps you could bleed on them. The bleed on them bit is a Monty Python reference, I think. The Holy Grail. But something really cool about this little conversation here is... depending on whether you've got neither Ogden nor Vec, or just Vec, or just Ogden, or both Ogden and Vec, all those different combinations, you get different conversations and different characters will say different things. So if you have neither of them, you, the party leader, will speak 3 times here. If you have just Vec, you'll speak twice, and Vec will speak once. And it's different every time. They all essentially say the same thing, and some of the dialogue is reused, but it is really cool the way that they did that. I've talked about every single time I see this, when heroes change the dialogue you hear, but this is the most extensive offensive I think that's in the entire game, because they actually account for the fact that you could have more than one, and they all have their own conversation. So like here you see I'm not in the conversation at all, but if it was just Vec there, it would be me he's calling, being sarcastic too, saying that I have an amazing command of the obvious. So yeah. Maybe I shouldn't be standing here just doing this. Basically, the concept here is you're going to have lots of destroyers coming out of this gate. They do eventually stop. I don't know whether they give you experience or drops after a while. I'm pretty sure a lot of them don't. But they will just keep coming out of this gate, and you've got to break the bottom of it. You see the Asura undergate there? You just got to keep hitting it. And boy, oh boy, has... Oh, another destroyer core. I love getting these things as drops. This is one thing... You know what I said about... getting the superb char carvings and waiting to see really how long it would take me without farming to get 250 of them. I was going to kind of do that with the destroyer cores, but I never really found myself killing enough destroyers or getting them, so I gave up after a while with that. But yeah, so I never actually did get the full 250. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to hit the Asura undergate. What happens is you can delay the spawn. You see this tremor here? When this tremor dies, it will trigger the spawning of all of the other monsters that come out of the gate. So if you do your best to ignore the tremor, obviously the tremor will hurt you, but if you do your best to just ignore the tremor and only fight the Asura undergate, just ping it or do whatever the hell you want and leave the tremor alone. Obviously the Norn just killed it, which is kind of annoying. But if you do that, you can actually end up killing the gate without any other destroyer spawning. But here, now that he's dead, you can see a destroyer of hope that's coming out. And hopefully going to try and kill us. Destroyer of flesh. And they'll just keep on coming. I love the detail on the gate, actually. They look really good in Guild Wars 2 as well, actually. In Guild Wars 2, you see how, like, we can't actually see where the destination is there? Like, obviously, think about what we saw in the first vision, by the way, as well, about this big chamber of where there could be loads of destroyers. Well, that, behind that gate, could potentially be that chamber. But what I was going to say, in Guild Wars 2, you can actually look into the gate, and it will sort of show you an image of what's on the other side. So, like, in the demo, you could look into the gate at Divinity's Reach and see a shot of Lion's Arch there. And this was before we had any footage or anything of Lion's Arch available, and it was awesome, and, like, you could look at it and be like, oh, I want to see what's there so bad. And it turned out that Lion's Arch did, as a lot of you probably know, look awesome. Anyway, another cutscene.
That was a battle worth fighting. These destroyers are worthwhile foes.
He seems happy.
A Norn only does what a Norn chooses to do. Pity your dwarf does not quite understand that.
So, my friend, will you gather your forces together to fight the destroyers?
I will gladly tell others what wonderful prey they are.
But will you gather an army?
Norn have no need of armies. We are Norn.
Great dwarf, give me strength.
Olaf, it was a good hunt. My friend wants to hunt more, but he is not Norn. He needs more people to help.
Is that all? I know your king, little dwarf. I can send a message to him. Will that do?
Yes, that will.
I will send a message to Jealous Ironhammer. I will tell him to meet you near the human encampment, near your Eye of the North. It will take some time.
I don't know what to say.
I do. Thank you, Olaf, seventh son of Olaf. You have done us a great favor. You are welcome to hunt destroyers anytime.
Just try and stop me. Off you go!
We're so Norn now. We know everything how to interact with Norn and talk to Norn. But yeah, of course, the ironic thing here is, and yes, Jarlis Ironhammer, he is in Eye of the North. Long time since we've seen that guy. But yeah, he was a heavy character in Prophecies. I think the last we saw of Jarlis, actually, was back at Thunderhead Keep, when at that final mission where, you know, the Shiver Peaks will be painted in blood. I still love that quote, that's amazing. But yeah, so Jarlis is in Eye of the North, and we'll be seeing him eventually. But of course, the ironic thing about this, I always laugh, is, yeah, Ogden kind of got what he wanted there. He's got a fair few Norn and now sort of allied with them against the Destroyers. But the hilarious thing is that because of the game mechanics, actually, the amount of Norn that end up going there is pretty much no different at all to any of the other allies you end up getting there, even though the other allies supposedly are offering entire armies, which is brilliant, but we'll see that when we see it. I've noticed we're on about 34 minutes, so I'll probably split this video in two, but so that it goes on a little bit longer. I actually wanted to mention something. What they're talking about there with the Norn and the fact that the Norn have no need of armies. There's actually something that I thought was quite interesting, and that you see, we've now seen pretty much all of the chart. Well, we have seen all the Char Homeland stuff, pretty much all of the Norn stuff now. And if you actually look at these two races, and I could swear that this is what Arenanet were going for. The Char, basically, their whole story is that they use armies, okay? They use armies, they find glory in huge battles, and they use their allies all the time, and you know, they work in war bands, and that's just how Char society works. And Eye of the North introduces to the Char there are no gods. They will never follow gods again, and they're staunchly against gods come Guild Wars 2, right? And the Norn basically come across as like the complete opposite for Guild Wars 2. The Norn all have many gods, they're spirits of the wild, if you really can consider them gods, and the Norn are staunchly against using armies. So, and there's a few other little things that I can't quite remember, but I do remember, really, when I basically finished Eye of the North the second or third time, I was so sure that come Guild Wars 2, they were going to have sort of a Norn versus Char situation going on here. You heard about like the territories that they went to, and you know, the Norn go south, and it's the Norn very close to the Char. And it really seems to me like they were setting up that the Norn were going to be sort of against the Char just for those reasons, but in the end it never happened. And I wonder if it kind of ties into what Arenanet were very initially sort of thinking, considering with the whole humans versus Char thing. Maybe the whole idea was going to be like, it'd be humans and Norn versus like Char and Asura or something, because like, I don't know, the Asura might not like humans, you know, they call us Booker and stuff, and that could have been quite interesting actually, sort of the kind of, and then the Sylvari maybe just sort of in the middle ground. I don't know, obviously that never happened, but it was something that I always used to think about, and it genuinely did surprise me when I kind of found, when they started writing lore about it, and it turned out that the Char and the Norn just kind of have a mutual respect for each other, and that's about it, and that their capitals are very close to each other, and there's no real... If you think about the relationships between all the races, they actually go into a lot of depth for a lot of the races, but Norn and Char, really, it's a bit lackluster, really, and I'm wondering if that's because they had an idea for it, but then they kind of scrapped it, and they didn't have much to fall back on. I don't know, it's just, this all me speculating, and please feel free to offer counter evidence or whatever. But yeah, so that's it, guys. That's how the episode's going to end, I think. Tomorrow we will do, well, in 2 days, I guess. I don't like having to constantly split these damn episodes, because I've got like 16 days before I want to finish Eye of the North. Yeah, we could be finished in like 2 weeks, so that's quite cool to think about if you ask me. But yeah, so next episode, basically, what we're going to do is look at, I think there's 3 or 4 quests here in the Far Shiver Peaks. I'm also going to show you like a flock of white mowers and some other stuff that I've been meaning to show you for a while. It's just some more cool little things. And then I think that'll be the Far Shiver Peaks done, and then we can go to the Tarnished Coast, blah, 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 blah. And that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time. See you next time, guys. Take care.